Welcome back to the Mind Hiking Podcast. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and today's episode, we're going to be talking about mental strength and the infinite capacity contained within that pink lumpy mass inside your hat holder. So, stay tuned. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. Two, one. All right, guys, let's do this. Welcome back. I got Baron and Bailey both in the studio with me today. They are feeling extra snuggly, and they don't want to leave my side, so I love them very much, and they're going to hang out with us. Today, I am drinking a Corona and Lime. Running solo for this bonus episode, but delicious drink anyways. Cheers. All right, guys. So, the strength that each and every one of us has is absolutely incredible. The willpower and the just what we're capable of is just damn near infinite, it seems, at times. Like, sometimes you can, just make shit happen. Sometimes you can just, you feel you're at the end of your line, you're at the end of your rope, you're out of energy, but there's at least personal experience for me. There's been so many times where, I'm so exhausted and everybody around me is so exhausted, but there's motivation to do, I don't know, I got this weird motivation to accomplish things. And some may say that's nice, but probably others that have it also understand that it can be a curse at times. I'm just go and just accomplish things, get things done, and on to the next thing. But I got this strong drive, and I'll push people around me, and I'll just I'll push myself, and I'll push people around me, and I'll just make things happen, get things done, and just drive. It's I find myself, I don't want this to come off wrong, but I find myself a natural leader because I tend to find myself in a position where I'm pulling the rest of the pack or pulling the team or trying to motivate the team. And especially in a world like today, it's just too easy to stand out. It's too easy to, my isolation from the world growing up on the farm and just, basically being forced to bust ass all the time. And that's all I knew. And I was willing. And the animals didn't care. You just do the work, and that's that. You don't complain. The animals need to be taken care of, and doesn't matter if you have a tummy ache, doesn't matter if you're puking. You go outside of the barn and throw up, walk back into the barn and keep working. The animals don't care if it's a holiday, if it's your birthday, if it's the weekend, if it's Sunday. They still need food. They still need cages cleaned. They still need to be taken care of. And I think that's where most of that stems from. So it's just I suppose it was just a learned trait. But I find myself leading due to that. And I'm driving for achievement, and obviously I've talked about before, the farm is now out of business, but I'm not doing that any longer. But that carried over, and I still have this drive, this motivation to just push hard, and just the strength of our mind is just a absolutely fascinating, amazing thing. And you can push yourself. You want to give up, And like when I was growing up and like in high school and stuff, my gym teachers and stuff would tell me how your mind wants to give up faster than your body. Your body can handle so much more than what your mind can. And when you want to give up and when your mind is giving up, your body can do more and you can do more. And so when you hit that spot where your mind is telling you, I'm done, I can't do this anymore, I can't, they're trying to tell me that yes, you can. Your body can do more, which yeah, they're right, but partially. I I just don't like that approach because I don't think that's like a voice in your head that's telling you to give up, that you can't do that. That's just like your conscious self saying you're like you're like basically your most fundamental basic conscious self telling you this is straining your body, you need to stop. There's nothing like there's nothing wrong with your body and nothing harming you. It's just your body trying, you're just like getting messages saying like you're straining yourself, you're pushing yourself, heads up kind of thing. I think moral of the story, I think the teachers had it backwards. I think my coaches and teachers had it backwards. I think your mind can handle more than your body can, because I've seen some absolutely amazing things. You hear amazing things and you see amazing things. We all know stories, just amazing people just running marathons with bleeding feet and no toenails, or like people that have like broken legs because they fell out of a tree stand hunting and they like crawled into town, or things like there's like surfers and surfer incidences with shark attacks, and just like people in wheelchairs accomplishing amazing things. Like it's just like there's another story about a guy that was completely paralyzed except for his left eyelid, and all he could do was blink, and he ended up him and the nurses were able to figure out a form of communication using essentially Morse code with his blinks. And he ended up, obviously he had the time, and he ended up being able to write a book with one eyelid, and that's it. It's just fascinating to me that just what we can handle and what we can achieve and what we can overcome as human beings if you put your mind to it. And we're losing that. We're losing that in the world today. And it's such a shame. It's everybody just wants to bitch about the littlest things. Everybody wants to complain and play the victim, but it's just absolutely insane what people have gone through. And there's Baron barking. But it's absolutely insane just what people have gone through. And then this generation and people nowadays still find a way to complain, still find a way to... I'll be right back. The dogs are going crazy. Sorry about that. Just had to kick some dog ass. No, I'm just kidding. But it's absolutely insane to me just how people can find ways to complain when it just like the fact that we are so much better off now than like it's every year, every day. Life is just improving and getting better. Our standards are just climbing exponentially, and we still find a way to complain. Like the poorest of the poor are still their standards are so much more comfortable than the richest of the rich a couple hundred years ago, which is just a blink of an eye in the span of the universe. This even the span of Earth. But we still figure out a way to play the woe is me victim card, which is a shame. But I know you guys my listeners are different. I know you guys are drivers, high achievers, and you understand what I'm trying to say. You look around you and you see this everywhere. And sometimes you feel lost. Sometimes you feel like, am I the only one that's different in this world? Sometimes it's hard to find people that aren't playing the victim. Sometimes, you're sitting here doing everything you can, and everybody around you is just playing woe is me, and you're keep putting your head down and just grinding, nose to the grindstone, and just keep chipping away at what you know you need to do, which is good. And time will reveal what happens in that situation. So you guys know what to do, and you guys are gonna just keep at it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Do what you need. Do what you know you need to do. But I'm just trying to get at, when you're feeling exhausted, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling drained, just keep going and just chunk it if you have to, but break it up and just step by step, day by day. If days are too long, step by step, just even if it's breath by breath, if you have to, just get through it and you can keep going, but make it small enough that you can easily achieve it and just keep going. And that also builds up momentum too. It builds up like self-esteem and momentum, and like a little dopamine bursts, and you get like, it's uplifting, achieving, and then you keep that momentum going, rather than like taking a hit or a loss over and over and over, and then you just like falling apart, falling down. So just keep achieving, and you get growth that way, and you start achieving more and faster. So that's another way to approach this. But it's amazing. It's absolutely insane how we can fixate on our goals and our dreams, and just make it happen, even though you have to go through so much pain, so much suffering. But if you got your sights set on something and you just drive hard, you can make it happen. And we're like stuck in this plane of existence where it feels like it's going to take forever. It feels like we're stuck now, and now is just taking forever. Like you feel like, oh, if I could just fast forward a little bit, it's you'll fast forward your life away. And it's you got to embrace the suck. You got to embrace the shittiness of life, because that is part of the roller coaster. That is part of the full spectrum of life and what life has to offer. The uncomfortableness, the unknown, the anger, the fear, the guilt, the regret, it's all part of the full spectrum, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's not enjoyable. But you gotta just use your mind, because your mind is just so powerful, so strong. It just like so much strength and wisdom and power in right between your ears, and you got to train yourself to use that. It's just like a massive, just like a massive explosive device without the fuse lit. That's basically like, I'm trying to find something, but I'm exhausted right now. I'm sorry, but just there's so much like potential energy between those ears of yours, and you just got to figure out how to make that work for you. And we're all unique, and you'll see somebody else achieve something and you'll want to copy the same thing or do something the same way, but you can't, because you're not that person. You're you, and you got a whole nother set of magic in your mind, and you got to figure that out yourself and use your skills to your advantage, and you'll know. Give it enough time, and you'll figure it out. It takes a lot of time, and it's only a matter of time. But you keep at it, and once you find what you know you need to do, you just keep on going. And even on your most exhausted days, you'll find the energy. You'll muster up the energy to be able to keep going. And you'll be amazed by it. You'll be amazed that you can keep going. It doesn't feel like it. Your body's exhausted. You're like, the two different types of exhaustion are like the physical and then the mental. You're like, you feel like your muscles are so sore and exhausted and you can't even lift your arm. And sometimes it's both, and some like where you can't even think. It just like hurts to have basic thoughts. And some days it's both of those. And somehow you can muster up the strength to continue on, and it's just absolutely insane. And then once you accomplish what you know you need to do, and you look back and you're like, wow, that's cool. Like, I did not think I had that kind of energy, but you do. And you'll see too, when you start doing something that sucks, but you know you have to, it's like your mind, or like the secondary mind, like finally accepts it, or like you're steering your mind. Your mind like pops up suggestions for you, or like the predictive texts, like things like that. But like it suggests things, but you're steering the ship, and you'll see like it's pretty cool. You can just push yourself, and you'll look back and just be like, wow, yeah, I totally thought that I would not have been able to have this energy to do this, but you look back and you're like, that's awesome. I feel great. And you'll in the process go through bursts of energy. Once you like steer the ship and start at something, and your mind and body kind of align and realize like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to think the captain out of this decision. And they all just kind of like, everything just aligns and accepts like, you're doing this. You just get through a little burst of energy, and you just get through it anyways. And it's like, you glide through it, and then you look back and you're like, oh wow, I'm already done, kind of thing. It's crazy feeling, crazy thing to experience, but it is awesome, especially when it's something that you aren't sure that you can do or achieve. If you're trying to take on something that's a little bit over your head or out of your wheelhouse, kind of, so to say, but you want to try it, or you think you can do it anyways, and then you get started, and then you're like, okay, this is a little too much, kind of thing. But it's just a little too much because it's uncomfortable and you haven't experienced it yet before. And you just gotta, again, use that big ball on top of your neck, on top of your shoulders, and just think your way through it and process, and you'll figure it out. And that thinking is so rewarding. You're processing, just like using that pink mushy mass inside your head is just so rewarding when you finally just figure something out or accomplish something, especially when you start and you get stuck and you're like there's not a feeling like it when you figure something out, when something clicks like that, and you know it. I know you guys all know what I'm talking about. There's that click of, I got it now, and you get through it, and then you look back and it's just like, then you got even more energy. It's like you could keep going if you didn't already accomplish it, because you're looking and you're just like, wow, like that's so cool. I finally did this. So it's just crazy how the mind works. It just like wants to give up, and it wants to shut down. It wants to preserve you. It's trying to keep you alive, and you're capable of much, much more than what everybody around you is telling you, including your own body. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get across is just you can do more than you know. And the only way you'll figure that out is pushing past what you know. So get out there and push past what you guys know. And I know you guys can do it. It's amazing to see some success stories and what people are capable of, especially when it's nobody's done it before. So, all right, guys, go kick some ass. Thanks for tuning into this Wednesday bonus episode. Hopefully you enjoyed and got something out of it. Follow the podcast, share it around if you got something out of this or you know somebody that needs to hear this. And thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Love you guys, and I will see you on Monday. Peace.